Before we begin tonight's journey into the temples of ancient Egypt, take a moment to make yourself comfortable. Adjust your pillow, let your breathing slow, and imagine the gentle warmth of a firelight guiding your thoughts. If you enjoy drifting into history's hidden corners, be sure to follow this channel, so each night another story can find you and carry you softly into rest. Now, close your eyes and let us step back thousands of years to the land of the Nile, where gods and mortals shared the silence of the night. The fire beside you fades into darkness. Your eyes close, and when they open again, you stand in another world, in the shadow of the very first city. Its name is Uruk. Clay walls rise high above you, stretching further than the eye can see. Streets wind inward, filled with voices, the sound of sandals slapping dust, donkeys braying, merchants calling out their wares. This is no village. This is humanity's leap into something larger, the first great experiment in living together. You step slowly into the crowd. The air is warm, thick with the smell of bread baking in clay ovens and fish drying on wooden racks. Children run barefoot past you, their laughter swallowed by the noise of the street. A woman balances a jar of water on her head, weaving carefully between neighbors and goats. Here, survival is fragile. The desert presses in on all sides. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers feed the fields, but their floods come without warning, sometimes blessing, sometimes disaster. A single bad season can mean hunger for thousands. The people have learned to bend nature to their will. You pass an irrigation canal, its water glimmering in the sunlight, diverted carefully into the fields. Men and women bend low, planting seeds into the soft soil. Barley rises here, the foundation of bread and beer. Without it, the city would crumble. You pause at a marketplace. The stalls are alive with color and sound. Clay pots glisten, freshly fired. Strips of linen hang from wooden poles. Copper tools catch the light, precious and rare. A man offers dates, their sweetness a small luxury for those who can afford them. Another pours thick, frothy beer into jars, passing them to weary workers. This is the heartbeat of the city: food, trade, survival. Yet not everyone here shares equally. At the edge of the market, a poor family kneels in the dust, their bowls empty. Children cling to their mother's robes. While kings and priests dine richly, others wonder where tomorrow's bread will come from. Already here in the first cities, inequality takes root. The sun begins to set, painting the city walls with gold. Torches flicker to life, casting long shadows against mud brick homes. The streets quiet slowly. You follow the glow of lamps into a neighborhood. Inside the homes, families gather on reed mats. They eat bread, beans and onions, sometimes dried fish, washing it down with thick barley beer. Their children curl against them, drifting toward dreams as the night deepens. But survival is not only about food and water. It is also about the gods. In Uruk, every sound, every shadow, every flood or famine is believed to come from the will of the divine. You follow the sound of chanting. At the heart of the city rises a ziggurat, a massive temple tower, its steps reaching up toward the stars. Torches blaze along its walls. Priests move in silence, their heads shaved, their robes pure white. They carry offerings of bread, beer, and incense. The smell of burning cedar drifts across the night air. Inside the temple, you see a statue of Inanna, goddess of love and war, of fertility and power. Her eyes gleam in the firelight. Each day, the priests clothe her, feed her, sing to her, for the people believe she is no mere carving of stone, but the goddess herself living among them. Without the gods, life here would feel unbearable. With them, there is meaning, even in suffering, even in hunger. Every prayer, every offering is a way of asking for survival in a world that can take it away so quickly. The chanting grows softer. The night grows still. And as you step back into the cool air, you look upward. The sky above Uruk is filled with stars. Men and women watch them carefully, believing they are messages from the gods. The first astronomers live here, their eyes charting the heavens, trying to make sense of fate itself. Slowly, you walk through the sleeping city. Dogs curl in doorways. Frogs croak softly from the canals. The smell of smoke lingers in the night air. Uruk dreams, and within its dreams lies the beginning of everything. Cities, writing, belief, power. The first footsteps of civilization itself. The night deepens. Uruk lies quiet, but the people's thoughts do not rest. They live in a world of gods, spirits, and unseen powers. Every shadow may carry meaning. Every dream may be a message. You wander through the empty streets. Above you, the stars shimmer. The people here believe the heavens are a script written by the gods. Scribes study the movements of planets, seeking answers to the mysteries of fate. A door creaks open beside you. Inside, a family sits around a small flame. The father tells a story to his children. It is the story of Gilgamesh, the great king who sought eternal life. In his tale, Gilgamesh battles monsters, speaks with gods, and journeys to the ends of the earth. But in the end, he learns a truth that even kings cannot escape. Death comes to all. What matters is the city you build, the people you protect, the legacy you leave behind. The children's eyes grow heavy, their dreams already filled with visions of heroes and gods. This is how myths live on, not in books or scrolls, but in whispers around firelight, passed from one generation to the next. Further along the street, a woman pours water into a clay bowl. She sprinkles herbs into it, murmuring words under her breath. She is not a priestess, but an ordinary woman seeking protection. For the people believe in more than gods. They fear spirits, demons, curses. Amulets of clay or stone are worn around the neck, carved with images of protective gods, to ward off sickness or misfortune. You glance into the shadows. On a wall hangs a clay figure, the demon Pazuzu, with a fearsome face and wings. Strange as it looks, this figure is not an enemy, but a guardian. Mothers place it near their sleeping children, believing it will protect them from Lamashtu, a spirit said to prey upon newborns. The air grows cooler as you step toward the ziggurat once more. At night, the priests tell myths of creation. They speak of Apsu and Tiamat, the freshwater and salt sea, whose union birthed the world. They tell of Marduk, the storm god, who split the dragon Tiamat in two and formed the heavens and earth from her body. These stories are not merely entertainment. They are maps of existence, explaining why the rivers flood, why storms rage, why death comes. Myths are survival. They give shape to the unknown. You close your eyes, and for a moment, you feel the pulse of the city. Merchants dream of profit. Farmers dream of rain. Mothers dream of their children safe. And all of them place their faith in the gods, the stars, and the stories told in the quiet hours of night. The torches of the ziggurat burn lower, the chanting fades, and the city sinks deeper into silence. But within that silence, the myths still breathe. They guide hands, shape fears, and comfort hearts. Without them, these first cities would crumble, not just in body, but in spirit. The myths of Mesopotamia fade, and slowly another vision takes shape. The desert wind rises, warm against your skin. The sound of the Nile flows softly in the distance. You have crossed into another ancient world, the land of Egypt. Here, survival means more than food, more than work, more than even the gods. For in Egypt, life and death are woven together. Every day is lived with the afterlife in mind. You step through a village along the Nile. Palm trees bend in the evening breeze. Children chase one another, their laughter echoing across mud brick homes. Inside, families share bread, onions, and beans. But even as they eat, they speak of what comes after death. The Egyptians believe the body must be preserved for the soul to live on. This is the beginning of mummification. You follow a faint torchlight into a workshop. The air smells of resin and natron, the salt that dries and purifies flesh. Priests work quietly. One carefully washes the body. Another packs the skin with salts. The chest is filled with linen. Each step is ritual, a sacred preparation for eternity. Nearby, Jars stand ready. They are canopic jars, each with a lid shaped like a sacred head. A jackal, a falcon, a baboon, a man. Inside them rest the lungs, the liver, the stomach, the intestines. The heart, they believe, holds the soul, and so it is kept safe, to be weighed against the feather of truth in the afterlife. The priests murmur prayers as they wrap the body. Linen strips fold carefully, layer upon layer, until the figure is bound tightly, its human shape still visible. Amulets are tucked between the wrappings, scarabs, ankhs, eyes of Horus, symbols of protection for the journey beyond. You step outside again. The stars glitter above the Nile. In temples across the land, scribes copy spells onto papyrus scrolls. These are the Book of the Dead, guides for the soul in the underworld. They speak of gates, guardians, rivers of fire, and the trials that must be passed before reaching eternal peace. You imagine the journey. The soul travels through darkness, facing demons and questions. At last it arrives before Osiris, Lord of the Dead. The heart is placed on a scale balanced against a feather, the symbol of truth. If the heart is light, the soul enters the fields of paradise. If heavy, it is devoured by Emmet, the eater of souls. The villagers know this fate awaits them all, and so they prepare. Rich families build tombs, filling them with treasures, food, and furniture. Even the poor leave simple offerings: a loaf of bread, a clay jar of beer, a carved amulet. For in death, they believe, these gifts will live again. The wind rustles through the palms. You walk toward a great pyramid rising in the moonlight. Its stones glow pale, massive blocks stacked with impossible precision. Inside rests a pharaoh, surrounded by golden treasures, sealed away for eternity. But more than treasure, the pyramid is a promise, a stairway to the sky, a guarantee that the king will rise with the sun god Ra. You pause, breathing the still night air. The Nile flows quietly in the distance, the frogs croak, the stars burn bright, and you feel the truth of Egypt. To live was to prepare for death, and to die was not an end, but a passage, a continuation of the great journey. The desert wind falls still. The stars sharpen above you. And now your path leads deeper into the sacred night, into the hidden places where only priests may walk. You approach the towering columns of an Egyptian temple. By day, these halls echo with music, with chants, with the footsteps of crowds bringing offerings. But by night, the temple belongs to the gods alone. Torches burn low. Shadows flicker along painted walls. Figures of Horus, Isis, and Ra stare down in silence, their eyes fixed, eternal. The priests move quietly, their sandals brushing the stone floor. Each carries a torch, and in their other hand, a vessel of milk, bread, or incense. They enter the sanctuary. Here stands the statue of the god. Its face glimmers in the flame. But to the priests, this is no statue. It breathes. It breathes. It sees. It watches. One priest bows low. Another carefully washes the statue with water from the Nile. A third places a linen garment over its shoulders. The air thickens with the smell of frankincense, for the god must be cared for like a king. If the rituals are neglected, the land itself may wither. The chanting grows deeper, sliding like waves through the darkened halls. You close your eyes and listen. The sound vibrates in your chest. It is slow, endless, a sound meant to hold the world together. Suddenly, the scene shifts. You are no longer in Egypt. You stand at the base of a Mesopotamian ziggurat. The steps rise high into the night sky, like a ladder reaching the stars. At the summit, a small chamber glows with fire. Inside, priests whisper to the gods. They lay out loaves of bread, bowls of beer, figs, honey, roasted meats. Though no human tongue will touch them, these offerings are not wasted. The gods consume their essence, their spirit, leaving behind the shell for men. Outside, the city lies silent. Dogs prowl the alleys. The river laps gently at its banks, and above, the constellations burn bright. The priests believe the stars are living beings, celestial scribes recording the fate of men. To them, each flicker in the sky is a god's decision written in light. Back in the temple, the offerings complete, the priests withdraw. They leave the god in silence, for though men may leave, the gods remain awake, watching, waiting, guiding the city through its dreams. You step into the courtyard. The last torch sputters. Darkness closes in. But it is not empty. The walls breathe with myths, with prayers, with 1,000 years of faith. You are never alone here. Slowly you walk back through the night. The temples fade behind you. The river gleams ahead. The stars shine cold above. And you feel what the ancients felt, that the world is more than stone and soil. It is alive. It is alive. It listens. It listens. It waits. The fire beside you glows one last time. Your breath slows. The sounds of priests, of gods, of rivers and winds melt into silence. You sink into stillness. You sink into sleep. The gods keep watch, and you drift into dreams. Good night.